Hello and welcome to Express News. In the next half an hour, we'll get you all the latest news and updates. Let's start with our top story. Cabinet approves ₹6,000 capital infusion in National Investment and Infrastructure Fund in the next 2 years. In addition, ₹7,000 crore will be mobilized as equity by NIIF and ₹1 lakh crore will come from bond market. Cabinet approves capital infusion into NIIF infrastructure debt financing platform comprising ASEEM Infrastructure Finance Limited and NIIF Infrastructure Finance Limited. Union Cabinet approves scheme of amalgamation of LAKSHMI VILAS Bank with Development Bank India Limited, a private bank. With this, there will be no further restrictions on the depositors regarding the withdrawal of their deposits. Union Cabinet approves foreign direct investment to the tune of ₹2,480 crores in Messrs ATC Telecom Infrastructure Private Limited. With this approval, the cumulative FDI of Messrs ATC Asia Pacific Pte Limited, ATC Singapore into ATC Telecom Infrastructure Private Limited, ATC India will be ₹5,417.2 crore in financial years 2018-19 to 2020-2021. Cabinet was apprised of MOU on cooperation in the field of physical, cultural and sports science among BRICS countries. The Union Cabinet approved the signing of the Memorandum of Understanding between the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India and the VRC, the Netherlands. The engagement between the premier institutes of both the countries would help to generate greater employment opportunities for Indian chartered accountants and also greater remittances back to India. The MOU would help in strengthening and development of the accounting, financial and audit knowledge base between the Netherlands and India. Prime Minister unveiled the university's centennial commemorative coin. PM also released a special commemorative postal stamp issued by India Post and its special cover during the event. While addressing the event, PM said, "In today's fast-paced lifestyle, we are leaving behind the habit of introspection. Digital gadgets and platforms are stealing your time, but you must set aside some time for yourself. It is very important to know yourself. It will directly affect your capacity and willpower." Prime Minister Narendra Modi released a book on the life and ideals of Guru Nanak Dev. The book has been penned by Kirpal Singh Ji, who is based in Chandigarh. President Ramnath Kovind today inaugurated the two-day 80th All India Presiding Officers Conference at Kevadia in Gujarat. The theme for this year's conference is Harmonious Coordination between Legislature, Executive and Judiciary, Key to a Vibrant Democracy. While addressing the presiding officers, President said it is expected from the public representatives that they always remain honest towards the principles of the democracy. President Kovind expressed happiness that this conference is being held at the Statue of Unity, the world's tallest statue of Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel. Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu in his address said that harmonious coordination between legislature, executive and judiciary is a key to a vibrant democracy. Lok Sabha Speaker Om Birla called upon all participating presiding officers to think about the constitutional responsibility on the Constitution Day. Speaker also appealed the presiding officers to take oath for fulfilling the targets set by our great leaders. Senior BJP leader and NDA nominee VIJAY was today elected as new Speaker of the Bihar Assembly. Ministry of Home Affairs has issued an order with guidelines for surveillance, containment and caution which will be effective from December 1st and will remain in force up to 31st. The main focus of the guidelines is to consolidate the substantial gains that have been achieved against the spread of COVID-19, which is visible in the steady decline in number of active cases in the country. The list of containment zones will be notified on the websites by the respective district collectors and the states, union territories. This list will also be shared with the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare. Within the demarcated containment zones, containment measures as prescribed by the ministry shall be carefully followed. The Met Department has upgraded cyclone NIVAR, which is bearing down heavily towards the Tamil Nadu and Puducherry coast from the Bay of Bengal to the very severe category. Under the impact of the cyclone, 7 districts in Tamil Nadu and Puducherry received extremely heavy rainfall at isolated places. 16 other districts, including Chennai and its suburbs, will experience heavy to very heavy rain as informed by the weather officials. DGIMD M. Mohapatra said that landfall may happen anytime near 12 midnight. He also added that the storm surge likely to inundate low-lying areas of north coastal districts of Tamil Nadu and Puducherry near the place of landfall. The S&P, BSE, SENSEX and Nifty 50 indexes fell sharply in trade. On Wednesday, the SENSEX slumped 695 points or 1.56% to close at 43,828, and Nifty 50 index dropped 197 points or 1.51% to settle at 12,858. Gold futures fell 0.11% to Rs 48,531 per 10 gram on Wednesday as participants offloaded their holdings on low spot demand. On the multi-commodity exchange, gold prices for December delivery declined by Rs 54 or 0.11%. Silver prices continue to drift lower in India markets for third day in a row amid a strong risk on rally in equity markets. Silver prices in India had fallen sharply over the previous 2 days. Silver has slumped Rs 800 per kg in the previous session, following Tuesday's Rs 1,600 fall. International benchmark Brent hit $46.56 per barrel, the highest in 8 months, before closing at $46.40. US benchmark West Texas Intermediate 2 rose to $43.43 a barrel. Crude has been inching up since November, following the news of vaccines developed by Pfizer, AstraZeneca, Oxford University and Moderna. Petrol and diesel prices remained unchanged on Wednesday after 5 straight days of increase. Petrol prices in Delhi stayed at Rs 81.59 a litre, while diesel prices continued to stay at Rs 71.41 a litre. In other metros and cities too, the pump prices to remain unchanged. As part of the push towards e-mobility, the government now plans to set up more electric vehicle charging points across the country. Minister for Road Transport and Highways Nitin Gadkari said that the centre plans to set up at least one EV charging station for every 69,000 petrol pumps. General Motors Company will recall 5.9 million vehicles with potentially dangerous Takata airbag inflators after a US safety agency had rejected the Detroit automaker's petition to avoid the callback. The company had argued the recalls were unnecessary because they did not pose a safety risk. The recall includes some Cadillac Escalade, Chevrolet Silverado, Chevrolet Suburban, Chevrolet Tahoe, GMC Sierra and GMC Yukon vehicles built over an 8-year period. US stocks rallied on Tuesday and the Dow reached the 30,000 level for the first time. The Dow Jones Industrial Average rose 454.57 points or 1.54% to 30,045.84. The S&P 500 gained 57.82 points or 1.62% to 3,635.41. The Nasdaq Composite added 156.15 points or 1.31% to 12,036.79. Each of the 11 major S&P sectors were higher. Economically sensitive stocks such as the financials, materials and energy names, while industrials hit a record. Rajya Sabha MP from Gujarat and Treasurer of the Indian National Congress, Ahmed Patel, passed away early this morning due to multiple organ failure after he was diagnosed with coronavirus in New Delhi. President Ramnath Kovind, Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu and Prime Minister Narendra Modi condoled the sad demise of Congress leader Ahmed Patel. India has demonstrated a consistent increase in the COVID-19 testing infrastructure since January 2020, resulting in an exponential increase in its testing numbers. With 11,59,032 tests conducted in the last 24 hours, the cumulative tests are nearing 13.5 crore. The cumulative positivity rate has been steadily falling and has touched 6.84% today. The daily positivity rate stands at 3.83% as of today. With 2,138 testing labs in the country, including 1,167 government laboratories and 971 private laboratories, the daily testing capacity has got a substantial boost. India's present active case load is 4.82% of the total positive cases and has been sustained below the 5% mark. The recovery rate continues to be above 93% as 93.72% of all cases have recovered. As of date, in the last 24 hours, the country registered 37,816 new recoveries in the last 24 hours, taking the total recovered cases to 86,42,771. 74.22% of the 481 case fatalities reported in the past 24 hours are concentrated in 10 states and union territories. As of now, more than 6 crore coronavirus cases have been reported worldwide with over 14,17,000 deaths. Over 4 crore 16 lakh people have recovered from the virus. The United States continues to top the list among worst hit countries by the pandemic so far, with the highest number of infections and deaths. The US has recorded over 1 crore 29 lakh cases of the virus, with the death toll surging past 2,65,000. The World Health Organization's chief scientist Soumya Swaminathan has said that the WHO is waiting to see more details on the efficacy and safety of AstraZeneca's COVID-19 vaccine and urged other developers to maintain efforts in order to provide enough doses for billions of people. 4 nations of the United Kingdom have agreed to relax COVID-19 restrictions for Christmas to allow up to 3 households to meet at home for 5 days. US President-elect Joe Biden said that he did not want to see a guarded border between Ireland and the United Kingdom, adding that he had discussed the matter with the British Prime Minister and other European leaders. President-elect Joe Biden on Tuesday introduced a slate of veteran diplomats and policymakers who will make up his national security and foreign policy team, saying that America is back and is ready to lead the world. Biden presented his picks for Secretary of State, National Security Advisor, Homeland Security Secretary, Intelligence Chief, UN Ambassador and Climate Change Envoy. Labour groups in Peru took to the streets of Lima to demand better working conditions and increased wages. The work has begun to overhaul the picture gallery at Queen Elizabeth's Buckingham Palace. The palace is undergoing a 10-year refit, a program that will cost about $370 million and is due to finish in 2027. Japanese trendsetters can now protect against the coronavirus in luxurious style with opulent masks adorned with diamond and pearls, but for a cool $1,000,000 each. The diamond mask is embellished with a 0.7 carat diamond and more than 300 pieces of Swarovski crystal, while the pearl mask contains some 330 Japanese Akoya pearls. First Lady Melania Trump was on hand for the delivery of the White House Christmas tree on Monday, with the 18.5-foot Fraser fir arriving by horse-drawn carriage. Following in a tradition that goes back to 1966, Melania Trump walked out from the White House North portico to welcome the fir. Macy's is preparing for Thanksgiving Day parade unlike any other. However, due to coronavirus pandemic, there will be no children and no spectators lining New York City's traditional 2.5-mile parade route passing Macy's Herald Square store. A 3-story mural of late U.S. Supreme Court Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg is now looking over passers-by in New York's East Village. The collage of various images of Ginsburg and depictions of justice on a wall at the southwest corner of East 11th Street and 1st Avenue depicts the justice's life. Greg Barclay has been elected as the new chairman of the International Cricket Council. He succeeds India's Shashank Manohar as ICC's second independent chairman. Barclay, an Auckland-based commercial lawyer, has been a director of New Zealand cricket since 2012. The Indian cricket team will go retro for the limited over series in Australia by donning the iconic dark blue team kit from the 1992 World Cup hosted jointly by Australia and New Zealand. Australia's head coach Justin Langer asserted that there will be no room for abuse when his team takes on India in an upcoming series, but he expects plenty of banter between the two evenly matched sides. The Australian Open tennis tournament will be most likely be delayed by a week or two. Negotiations between organisers, the tennis tours and the Victoria government over health measures continue. British number 1 Johanna Konta has reunited with her former coach Dmitry ZAVIALOFF. Konta, age 29, reached the semi-finals of the French Open as well as the last 8 at Wimbledon and the US Open when the pair worked together in 2019. Manchester United returned to winning ways in Group H as they made amends for their Istanbul horror show. Bruno Fernandes hit a brace as the Red Devils hammered Istanbul BASAKSEHIR 41 at Old Trafford. Barcelona confirmed their qualification for the last 16 of the Champions League as they thrashed Dynamo Kyiv in Group G. Despite resting Lionel Messi for the trip to Ukraine, it provided a comfortable evening for Ronald Koeman's side, who have won all 4 of their group games. With Argentine Lionel Messi among a number of key players absent, Koeman named Barca's youngest Champions League starting 11 since 6 December 2011. Chelsea booked their place in the Champions League last 16 following a late 2-1 victory in Rennes. Olivier Giroud came off the bench and pounced in stoppage time with a header to book last 16 place. Borussia Dortmund striker Erling Braut Haaland has become the fastest player in history to score 15 goals in the Champions League. Borussia Dortmund takes a big step towards securing their knockout stage spot with 2 games remaining. Jadon Sancho also nets super free kick in Champions League victory. Alvaro Morata scored a stoppage time winner as Juventus overcame a scare against Ferencváros to qualify for the Champions League knockout stages. Cristiano Ronaldo scored his 749th career goal as a left foot drive from 20 yards found the bottom corner. Neymar's first half penalty helped ease the pressure on boss Thomas Tuchel as Paris Saint-Germain leapfrogged RB Leipzig in Group H of the Champions League. Liverpool welcome Atlanta to Anfield tonight, knowing that victory would seal their place in the last 16 of the Champions League with 2 games to spare. Now Manchester City will be looking to put their latest Premier League title setback behind them when they resume their Champions League campaign with a trip to Olympiacos. 2 behemoths of the European game will collide in Wednesday's Champions League fixture as Inter Milan welcome Real Madrid to San Siro in game week 4. France rugby legend Christophe Dominici has died at the age of 48. Dominici made 67 appearances for the French national side between 1998 and 2007. Mick Schumacher can clinch the F2 World Championship this weekend, a triumph that will sit well on his CV as he bids to follow his father into Formula 1. Tokyo Governor Yuriko Koike said that the best case scenario for the 2020 Olympics postponed until next year is to have venues full of spectators. Beyoncé dominated nominations for the 2021 Grammy Awards on Tuesday in a field that mostly favoured alternative artists over mainstream musicians, topped by a stunning snuff for Canadian singer The Weeknd. Beyoncé's leading 9 nods made her the second most nominated Grammy artist in history with 79 nominations and came through projects that celebrated black culture in a year of racial turmoil in the United States. British singer Dua Lipa, pop star Taylor Swift and rapper Roddy Ricch followed with 6 nominations apiece. Swift and Dua Lipa will compete for the top prize album of the year along with R&B singer Post Malone British band Coldplay. The biggest shutout was The Weeknd, who was widely expected to rack up several nominations for his critically acclaimed hit album After Hours, which has won multiple awards this year. Actor Paul Bettany honors his father with his new role in the film Uncle Frank. Bettany stars as a closeted gay man in the 1973 drama that tells the story secrets and long-buried trauma with a little humor weaved in between. Partly because of this experience, writer-director Alan Ball felt Bettany was right for the role even though he is not gay. The cast describes the ending of the film as tender and important. Uncle Frank will premiere on Amazon November 25th. Shawn Mendes in Wonder chronicles the Canadian artist's 29 world tour and making of his fourth album Wonder. Released earlier this year, the film gives fans an intimate look at Mendes' private life during that time, providing insight into his family home, friendships and relationships. The film culminates with Mendes having to cancel a show in Sao Paulo, Brazil due to laryngitis and a sinus infection. Singer admitted these scenes where Mendes deals with the emotional fallout of cancelling a show ended up providing great material for the documentary. New York Governor Andrew Cuomo was honored with the Founders Award during the International Academy of Television Arts and Sciences ceremony. Academy President Bruce Paisner presented the Emmy to the Governor for his exceptional use of television for public service during the COVID-19 pandemic. Celebrities including Spike Lee, Robert De Niro and Billy Crystal took part in a special recorded message praising his leadership during the pandemic. In a taped message, Cuomo said he was honored and surprised by the recognition. Well, that's all we have in Express News. Stay tuned for more news and updates. Namaskar.